Hey, how's it going? We're going to try something new today using the selfie stick outside. Make sure I can remember everything I was going to talk about today. Anyhow, I am in Arizona, close to Phoenix, in a town or city called Tempe. And the reason why I stress the E on there is because that's how they pronounce it here. Wherever you go, you want to fit in. You want to blend in like you're, a local. And so Tempe is how the locals pronounce it. At least that's how they tell me. It's spelled Tempe, and the accent is on the last syllable, I guess. So Tempe. And I'm just walking around the river park here. It's close to the river. It's Tempe Lake, and it's formed by damming up the Salt River. Isn't that why they call it salt? I guess because we're very arid. Most of the water evaporates, and what's left is a little bit of water and salt. It's just kind of a trickle that runs through here. But if I can get over there before my time expires on my parking, I'll show you the river or the lake. Very cool place, lots of grass, believe it or not, even though it's a very arid desert kind of a place. But it's kind of cool. It's got some charm. It's a lot of new buildings here because of companies leaving places like California. There's a lot of high rises around here that I may show you. Let's see if I can show you some of these behind me. And they're still working on them. They're building a lot. But it's kind of a cool place. And the reason why I brought up where I'm at and pronouncing Tempe is because wherever you go, you'll find names of towns that you don't know how to pronounce. Every place I've lived, I've found those. Or any places I've traveled to, even though you're in America and everything's English, right? Not necessarily. North of here, there is a little town, tourist town, close to where I live, that's called Prescott. It's like biscuit without the gravy. And so it's spelt like Prescott, but it's pronounced Prescott. Now we're going to follow those rules when we come down here to Tempe, north of Tempe. By the way, those are airplanes coming and going in the Phoenix airport, which we call Sky Harbor. Phoenix is just down the street from where I'm at. But anyhow, Prescott. There's a town north of here that you may know, it's pretty famous, is Scottsdale. Okay, so shouldn't the Scott in Scottsdale be called Skit? Skitsdale? Wouldn't that work? No, it doesn't work. And then the same thing with Phoenix. It's like, if you never heard the word before and try to pronounce it, it could be, P-H-O-N-X. But the PH is like an F sound, so it's I don't know if you can hear that F sound, but it's an F sound, and so the O is silent. So instead of Phoenix or Phoenix, it's Phoenix. Go figure. There was places when I lived up in Washington that they could tell you're not a local by how you pronounce some of the local towns. Same thing in Massachusetts. There's a couple towns there I could never pronounce because every time I looked at the name, how it's spelled, it didn't make sense to me. It's hard to get out. Okay, we're going to get over here close to the river/lake. And it says, do not climb on the bridge. Boy, that's noisy. That's an old bridge I'm going under. It makes me a little nervous. Anywho, let me show you the river, or the lake here. And I guess they have some boating, some little boats you can rent. I'm not sure how all this works out, but it's kind of serene. Take a look at it here. There's that bridge I just went underneath. There's the lake. And if you look it up like on Google Maps, you see just this little creek kind of feeding it. But the area that holds that little creek is huge. So I think when they have monsoon, it may fill up if they have a heavy rain. So that's Tempe Lake. And I'm going to get back underneath this scary bridge and talk about what we're going to talk about today. what I wanted to talk about is self-care. That's one of the reasons why I came out today, even though it's going to be up in the over 100 degrees. Right now it's 97, going up to 109. It was 113 or 14 yesterday. Oh, there's where you can rent some bikes and stuff, or boats and things. Anywho, I'm not going to stay out long, needless to say, but if you do work in warm environments or hot environments, self-care is one of the things that you should think about as far as making sure you're hydrated. Drink lots of water, because that heat effect on you and dehydration, especially around here. There's no humidity around here. You don't really sweat much, even though it's hot, because it evaporates. These are little surreys, I think. I don't know if you can see that. I got too much glare. Yeah. So you can rent things like that and pedal around the park. There's some boats of different kinds out there you can rent. But yeah, stay hydrated. Trust me, if you get dehydrated, that could be very bad. Not only do you cramp up or possibly get heat stroke, things like that. But basically what I want to talk about is, people that work indoors. There's always a happy medium with whatever you do. Everything you do, you want to do in moderation. And the reason why I say that is, I want you to be physical if you're a desk jockey like I used to be. There's some funky looking boats over here. You want to move. Sitting all the time is not good for you, but also doing the same motion over and over again causes what they call repetitive stress injuries. Like if you notice when you go to the grocery store, you see somebody who's doing the same motion, basically. Let's see if you can see some more boats here. Some are looking like ducks. Kind of cool. Anyhow, so you want to be careful with that. There are exercises and things you can do, some stretching to help prevent that, but you see a lot of cashiers wearing braces on their arms, wrists. It can lead to carpal tunnel. Same thing with sitting. I'll give you an example because I lived through it. Most of the jobs I had when I was in my IT career was sitting. And when you sit, they call sitting is the new smoking, because you sit a lot, it can cause other problems like circulation problems, shortening of soft tissues like muscles and tendons and things like that. And I read something about that and kind of stretches you should do if you're someone who sits in a chair a lot. I'm glad I saw that. There's quite the drop there. Oh, that would have been a bad day. Anywho, you got to be physical. And so I tried some of the stretches, and I've done them before when I was working out a lot, and I was very gentle. Trust me, I really tried to not hurt my body. And I was doing a light leg stretch. It stretches a muscle that goes through your pelvis. And I felt 2 pops, pop, pop. And I thought, I didn't feel any pain. And I thought, that's strange. That day, I really didn't feel anything. The next day, I couldn't walk. Whatever popped inflamed and started pressing down on that sciatic nerve. And you know anything about sciatic issues? It's very painful and can lead to other things like numbness, lack of control, like if your leg gives out if you're walking. Took me months to get over it the first time, and then like the next year I re-injured it just by using it. As you can tell now, I'm fine. I don't have a walker. I'm not using any crutches or canes, but these are things you need to be aware of. Now, if I knew about doing that kind of stretch for sitting earlier in my career, I probably wouldn't have had that problem. So what else? Self-care. So we talked about staying hydrated. The other thing is staying active. Keep moving like a shark. And I know not all sharks are this way, but some sharks, they never sleep. They're always in motion. And why is that? It's because if they stop moving, they don't pull the water over their gills, so they don't get oxygen into their system, and they'll die. Same thing with humans. We need to be in motion, and that means not sitting for hours, not on the couch, not in an office chair, not anything like that. And so every hour or so, set a timer if you have to. Get up, move around. Even if it's just going to get a drink from the break room, or I would highly recommend, instead of calling one of your colleagues, it might be a couple cubicles away, walk over there, stand up, move around. Just little things that will really help you out. Motion, not only does it help get the blood and other fluids in your body circulating, but also it affects your mood, keeps you alert, wakes up your brain. What kind of other things can you do? Oh, if you can get one of those desks that, how are we doing for time here? If you get one of those desks that are adjustable so that you can have it set down to where you can sit at it or raise it up and you can stand by it, that would be awesome, because that way you're moving your body more. What other things can you do? And again, I'm not talking about exercising like going to the gym. I'm just talking about being in motion, getting the blood flowing, engaging your brain, everything else. You can just walk around the inside of your building, like the inside perimeter. Say if it's rainy or snowy or hotter than heck like it is here. Just walk the perimeter, and just like one time. You don't need to raise a sweat. Just take a little stroll. Same thing on the outside. Walk around the outside of the perimeter of your building. Or if you were fortunate enough to work in some buildings like where I've worked, is that they may have a park kind of area where it has some grass and a trail, dirt, or blacktop. Take a stroll and then go back to work. It doesn't take that much time, What else can you do? Oh, take the stairs instead of taking the elevator up. I know if you're not in very good shape, you're not going to go far. You may just go into the stairwell and take a couple stairs up, a couple stairs down, or go up to the next level, next floor. I used to do that. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, parking. If you drive to work, instead of parking right by the entrance close to your desk, park a little bit farther out so you walk a little bit more. Those kind of things. I'm not going to put them here, but you can look online. I just got to switch hands. This little thing's starting to get heavy. Anyhow, look online. Google desk or chair exercises. Do some stretches. There's stretches you can do right in your chair that'll keep you limber, keep that blood flowing, keeping those soft tissues from shrinking up. Because, trust me, you don't want to go through what I went through with that sciatica. Anyhow, just be like a shark. Stay in motion. Some of the things we can do for self-care are so simple. It doesn't require a club membership. It doesn't require special shoes or clothing. And if you're really good at it, your coworkers will never know what you're doing. If you come over and pop into one of your associates, I don't know if you can hear me when the plane's going over. When your associates see you pop into their cubicle, they might actually appreciate some face-to-face time. So that's also good for you, a little socializing kind of a thing. But anyhow, the reason why I bring this up, I don't care what you do, whether you're a cubicle inhabitant like I was, or you work in a shop, whatever, or you have your own business, you're running around. Say you have a little retail shop and you're selling things like computers or whatever, or you're an independent contractor, plumber, whatever. Even though you think, well, I do construction, I'm always in motion. Think about your repetitive motion. Think about stretching. Think about staying hydrated. It helps with whatever you do, both physically, emotionally, mentally. Walking, just like I am now in this hot weather, I feel much more alive, much more alert than if I was doing this from my desk in my office. So, anywho, I'm going to wrap it up here pretty soon because it is really getting toasty out here in Tempe. So the reason why I bring it up here is whether you're doing real estate investing, depending on the kind of investing you're doing, you may be sitting at a desk all day, or if you're a fix and flipper, you're out, might be doing some physical labor. everything you do, regardless, you can use these little techniques to really improve your, what's the word I'm looking for? Your well-being, you know? Just a little bit here and there goes a long way. And if you have your own business, investing, anything like that. I know people that do, some of my friends do day trading. So what do? They tend to sit in front of a computer all day long trying to find deals, trying to make a few extra bucks by trading those stocks. Same thing for them, you know. I remember, speaking of being a desk jockey, I remember before year 2000, remember people talked about Y2K, working in IT. For my customer where I was co-located with, I had to figure out all the different hardware and software that we were using to see if it was compatible for going Y2K. Because if you remember, back in the old days of programming the like, instead of putting in a 4-digit year, they used a 2-digit year. And so with that, instead of going from 1999 to 2000, you went from 99 to 0. And that could cause problems. And you know, if you're working in a business production environment, that could really stop everything. So I had to do a lot of research and entering in different spreadsheets and the like. And I tell you, talk about carpal tunnel. My right hand, my mousing hand, got so stiff, so sore from constantly mousing, because even though I wasn't typing that much, copying, pasting with one hand, you don't think that's anything because you're not lifting heavy things. But man, that year I had to go get some physical therapy just to make my hand work again. So like I said, whether you're doing something physical or sitting at a desk, there's always things you could do that don't take much time, don't make you sweat, and keep you moving forward. So anyhow, I do some of these videos on the side just to break up the monotony. You all know what I like to talk about, but I always think of things to share that are maybe off topic. So anyhow, this is Donald Henderson in Tempe, Arizona. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.